If you walk behind Ekberg School in Oslo, there is a bronze statue of Anne Bradfield, not a queen, not a politician, a folk healer, the kind of person most cities forget on purpose. But Oslo didn't forget her. Someone decided her name belonged in metal on a hill where people used to walk to find her. To understand why, you have to go back to Christiania, when the city was growing fast and winter felt like it lasted forever. Families lived packed in tight rooms with bad light. Kids got sick in slow, cruel ways. Legs bent around in unnatural positions, bodies stayed weak, and adults carried pain that never seemed to finish. Doctors existed, but not everyone could afford them. And even when they could, the results were not always there. So people kept walking up toward Branfell and Ekberg to a woman whose name had turned into direction. Branfeld, Branfell, or rather, go to her. That was the sentence. Anne wasn't famous because she was dramatic. She was famous because people said she helped. That is how it always starts, not with belief, but with reputation. One family says something changed. Another family goes. Then someone else hears it from someone they trust. Inside her place, the work wasn't one thing, it was a blend. Practical remedies and older ritual methods side by side. She would look at a child, listen to a parent, and then do what folk healers did, measuring with thread, signing, prayers, hands on the body, sometimes simple treatments, sometimes advice that sounded almost insulting until you realize the parent has been desperate for anything that feels like a plan: more air, more light, better food. The kind of common sense that becomes powerful when it is delivered with certainty and care. People later said she was especially known for children with rickets, and the story goes that she noticed it early. That part matters. A healer does not just do a thing, a healer learns a pattern. They spot, or we spot rather, the spot where others miss. We catch the problem before it becomes permanent, and so does she. And that's what builds reputation. And she didn't only see children. People came with joint pain, paralysis, cramps, skin problems, long illnesses that no one could explain and would not go away. The list gets wider because the city is wide with suffering. Some come for healing, some came for what they believed she could perceive, because she was also a fortune teller. The word that follows her in the accounts is that she could read a person, that she could diagnose, that she could bless, that she could sign away something. Then the stories climb higher, the way they always do when a name becomes big enough. People said she had gifts that looked like miracles, that she could know things ahead of time, that she could see what was hidden. Some described her as a clairvoyant. Others described her as not having the same type of skill as in the party trick sense, but in the older sense, someone who could look at a life and call what was coming. And there is one story that gets repeated because it is so extreme it forces a reaction. People claim she brought someone back when everyone thought the person was gone. A man taken as dead and then not dead. Whether that happened exactly as told or whether it is the highest claim a community can make about a healer, that is the level her reputation reached. That is what people were willing to say out loud about her. And that is why the story ends in a statue. Because a city does not cast bronze for a rumor that dies in a season. A city does it when the memory keeps returning, decade after decade, like the heel itself kept holding the name. That is the bridge to tonight's episode, my first episode, because Jonas is not Anne Bradfell. It is a different time, different language, different world, but the shape of the story is familiar. A person becomes known for helping, people come because something is in the work that makes life shift. So, without further ado, I would like to invite Jonas to Folklore After Dark. Hello, Jonas. What do you think of my
I
story?
I don't know what to say. I didn't expect that at all. I didn't know what we were supposed to talk about. You just invited me, and you're talking about this woman that there is not a lot of people in Norway that know about her anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a special connection to her story and the people that she learned from and
Mm-hmm.
how she grew up and her life in Christiania, known as Oslo, and how she worked and how the doctors, police, church worked against her. But she was truly a saint, and she is still remembered, but not by young people in Norway. So I thought this was someone that was forgotten about, and suddenly you start talking about her. That's
Well,
crazy.
well, that's the basis of the show, right?
Yeah,
So
I'm
before
amazed.
we get into you and what you do a little bit, can you maybe talk about her a little bit more? Maybe something that I missed, or
Oh, so yes, where to start? It's she grew up a couple hours north of Oslo in a poor family on the countryside, just trying to survive. And in the 1800s, and she got to know people, wise women and men that are known still in Norway, and she learned from them, using herbs and her clairvoyance, her intuition. She had a strong, strong intuition, and she just knew. Um, and by learning from them, she got this knowledge, and by trusting the nature and the herbs and everything, she got the knowledge. And at some time, she had to move to Oslo because of the family being poor, and they couldn't afford to. They didn't have work for her, so she moved to Oslo, the capital of Norway, and got into a marriage unhappy, trying to fight what she knew was meant for her. And at some point, she just had to give in and follow that path. And back then, as you described quite correctly, and especially the children in Oslo or Christiana was sick because of wrong nutrition and because of unhealthy environments, children working and everything. And she just helped everyone out, from the magical things to just seeing people being there as nothing. She didn't try to be any mystical, or she just tried to be a human being, helping people the best she could. But again, the government and police, the church especially, worked so hard against her. So that at one point they chased her out of town, and she ended up, as you said, at Ekeberg, and next to a small mountain now called Brannfjell, who is it means the mountain of fire. And today, at the same place where she had her little house, and at this time, these were far out of the city, and today it's like in the city. But the biggest football cup in the world, Norway Cup. It's a known football cup. Is played right there at her in her old garden. So everyone knows about the place, but people don't. The most of them don't know who lived there once.
Now,
So amazing story.
why do you think people forgot about her?
Well, we have had several healers and wise men and wise women up through the years, and it's not often that much talked about. There is a couple of them that are really stuck in the memory here, but we are now using the podcast, especially podcasts, Norwegian podcasts, to talk about these people again. And there has been so much focus on traditional medication and everything. You know how it is.
Yeah.
And it's not like people learn about this in school or anything, but her statue is still there. And I hope people are talking about her. But I have never heard any. Yeah, I have talked about her, but there's no other Norwegians that have told me about her. So that you're talking about her right now is crazy, and gives me the motivation to talk about her in my next podcast, because she really deserves it. And she was just helping people big time. And you said, bringing people back from the death and everything. At that time people were dying like flies out of tuberculosis. And so that is what she did. People truly looked dead, and they almost was. And she helped them with herbs and nutritions and healing and everything, and saved so many lives. But at the same time, she had two children that died of tuberculosis themselves, and it's a tough time, really tough time. And so she helped so many others, but I think 3 out of 6 children died when they were young, and it's a tough time in Norway. Yes.
Hmm. All right. Well, can you tell us a little bit more about yourself now that we've talked to her about her?
Yes. Well, Uh, my whole life, I've known that I'm supposed to work as a healer, or healer is just a gate into the consciousness, being increasing the consciousness, being aware, helping people with wakening up to who they are and what they are capable of. But I work as a healer and a spiritual coach, podcasting and holding events in Norway, retreats in Norway and in Spain. And I worked as a supermarket manager for 10 years, and then I just had to give in. I didn't choose it myself at all. I would never choose it. Now I'm happy, of course. My life is good, but I were forced to quit a well-paid job and just jump into the career as a healer. And it was truly scary, but I really had no choice. But people have been really supportive and everything. And in the beginning of my journey there, when I decided, I said, okay, it's okay. I'm in. Just bring it on. I can't hold it back anymore. The first thing I did is that I read the story about Anne Brandfjell. So Brandfjell isn't her original last name. It's Anders datter, but because she lived next to the mountain there, it's Brandfjell. So she truly inspired me, and I felt so connected to her story, because she was just truly fighting for what she believed in. And I feel that I have been fighting, but it's nothing compared to what she had to do. So she's a big inspiration for me.
So I take it that she was labeled a witch.
Yes, she was labeled a witch big time. Of course, that time, and it's then it wasn't more than maybe 150 years before they were burning people on, before being witches and stuff. So people were scared, but of course, so many people were helped by her. She helped so many people, but at the same time the church was working so hard, to scare people off, and that she was working with the devil and that you would go to hell and everything. But when your child gets so sick and about to die, you do everything.
Yeah,
You
you
do
don't care
everything.
anymore. That's what I tell people who come onto my feed and like maybe drop Bible verses, telling everyone that's gonna go to everyone's gonna go to hell. And I tell the people that come to my groups that it's like when someone's like really sick, they don't care if like the healing comes from the devil. Because first, a lot of the times they're already in hell, so it can't
Absolutely.
get much worse. It can't get much worse than that.
We create hell ourselves, that's for sure. So people need help, and they will ask for it. And what I discovered with Anne is that she helped them, and not only did she help them, but she gave them easy, useful advices how to live their lives, as going out into the sun. In Norway, that's a big problem because of the D vitamin,
Mm,
uh, and we need to be out in the sun. And people didn't know that, so they were inside working in the fabrics all the time. Um, and just that little advice, like eating butter to have some fat within, like small things, helping them and giving them healing and everything. But it's not only healing and that mistress mystical things she did. It was being a nice old lady helping people.
right. And what made you decide that you wanted to do this too? I know you said you read her story and it inspired you, but what made you finally decide, you know what, I'm going to do this?
Well, when I was I had this feeling all my life, and when I grew up, I was strongly connected to my guides, and they truly helped me through my childhood that was tough. And when I was 13, they told me that I was going to work as a healer when I grew up. And I didn't believe this. I didn't want to believe this. And I didn't know what to say or do. I never told anyone through all the years about my connection with my guides or anything. I just shut up. Um, and but like from that time, I was 13, maybe I was 12 years old, I think. Um, Once or 2 or 3 times a year, they reminded me, like, okay, keep on doing what you're doing, but remember what you're supposed to do. So I got a career within the supermarket, and I did well. I did really well. And I got a reminder, okay, keep on doing what you're doing, but remember what's meant for you. And I fought against it, and it gave me so much trouble, anxiety, and shit, and I had to deal with it. I hit the wall 3 times, or the third time I felt it come, and I decided to, okay, this time I will jump out of it, and I will follow what is meant for me. And from that time I have trusted the universe the best I can. I call it the universe, and call it whatever you want.
Mm-hmm.
And I woke up and I wake up in the morning. I do an effort, but I also trust the universe to guide me the best I can. And and the guiding is just getting stronger. And the guiding is just positive things. It's nothing negative. It's nothing. I'm not doing anything bizarre. It's positive things, just to be clear.
Mm-hmm.
And it all works out. And my life seems to be better and better. And so we can talk about free will. I don't feel I've had much free will the last 5 or 6 years, but I'm happy.
Well,
So
at least it goes in a good way. I don't think people
exactly,
necessarily have well, no one from what I could see they have a varying capacity for free will, should I say. Everyone's a bit different. So, um I think it's a blessing that it goes in a good way for us
absolutely.
because it's very fortunate. So, you said you resisted against it when you were younger, when you were a kid. What were you like when you were a kid?
Well, I was silence. There was a world going on inside me and around me that no one else could understand.
Oh
So
yeah.
I was living in my own bubble and trying to adapt the best I could, living with one feet in this dimension and the other feet in some other dimension. And I didn't have a name for it. It was just how I was, and trying to cope the best I could and not being in the way for others. And I didn't tell anyone, and that was a problem, because it did so that I didn't tell anything to anyone, and I have experienced that you should maybe sometimes open your mouth and tell people how you are, and how
Mm-hmm.
you feel. So I was 30 years old before I told anyone about my experiences. Didn't tell my ex-wife, been together for 15 years, for example. Crazy. Didn't tell my parents, my siblings, anyone. Hold it
Mm.
to myself. Until one day it wasn't possible anymore. Um, yes, so it has been. So that is like 6.5 years ago, I think, and been 6.5 crazy years.
And
Positive.
how are they receptive of it when you started talking about it? Did they think, "Oh, Jonas has gone mad," or were they more accepting, or did it depend on the person?
Well, and I was shit scared of what people could think, or how people would react. And I was a known guy in the community here, through the supermarkets I have led and everything, and people knew me. So my thoughts and my fear was about how people would react. But everyone have taken it so well. Um, I can't believe it, actually. And people are just supportive. And those that don't like it, then just shut up. And I haven't met much resistance. The resistance I have met is within myself, of course.
Mm,
And that's tough enough. So working on myself, that's the thing.
good.
So
All right.
people are
So,
positive.
just to clarify, where did you grow up?
I grew up in Norway in a town called Porsgrunn, 1.5 hour away where Anne lived.
Oh,
So a
okay.
little
So
bit
you live
south.
very close to her.
Yes.
Do you think her
So
spirit's still around you when you work, or
no, I have
do you?
never experienced her in my work. I haven't.
All right.
But no, I have never experienced her.
All right. Well,
So
so
she's probably resting on the other side. I don't know.
well, we never know, I guess, right? If she's the one who inspired you, perhaps she may have had a hand in
Absolutely.
nudging you into your direction. I found that's how it can
And I
work.
felt the energy in her story truly boosted my motivation
Yeah, 100% she
big
was
time.
involved for sure.
Yes, and it's crazy that no other people have. I have talked about her with several people and told her story, you know, but no Norwegians have ever told me about her. So my question to you, my friend, is how in this world have you heard about her?
I mean, I just was decided I needed to do this show, and I maybe take a peek at what's going to work for my guests, and not really pre-record or plan these and talk about it, because if it's well connected, the guest will have much to say, and we can keep going and going until we finish the full episode, I guess. So yeah, I do stuff too, so it's part of it. And it's not a sin to incorporate it into your other work too. There is a misconception that when you have spiritual, I guess, gifts, that you could only use it for spiritual stuff. But I think as long as you're not coercing people and pushing people and doing mind control and things, horrible things like that, it's okay to, create a platform that um, brings more people together, and teaches
Absolutely.
people about healing and the supernatural, because I think this stuff is very important. So many people, especially in the spiritual community, are so um, um,
And I'm a little
preconceived.
tired of, the spiritual journey, the spiritual community. For me, it's just life. We are
Yes.
handling life.
Like, well, they're tending to get into extraterrestrial and ET stuff when it's absolutely not needed. The other end of it, the stuff that's more grounded and folklorish and based on the earth, is infinitely more powerful than any of this other stuff I've seen. And
Absolutely.
you notice people that could actually heal, they don't talk about these things. They
No.
don't talk about these things ever.
And for to talk about Anna a little bit, I believe that our guides, the universe, the healing energy, whatever, needs us as grounded people, so we can
Absolutely.
channel the healing energy in being, don't put ourselves upon others. And it is exactly what she did. She was
Mm,
just one like everyone else, not trying to brag. She did an amazing job, but she was just herself. And I think that is what made her so amazing, and the work she did, because she have helped thousands
mm.
uh, of people through. And she got old. I don't remember how old, but it's like 90s or something, you know. So
Yeah, hopefully we could look forward to that too, right?
yes, that's nice. We're getting old. Mm.
So, who was the first person that you talked to this about? Talk
Oh,
about, yeah, the first person that you started talking to. Hey, I could do this. I want to try this.
the
Thing.
healing.
Yes. Who was the first
Yes,
person? You said you were
actually,
30. You don't know when.
I tested it on my children first, and and when I was going to say goodnight, at bedtime, and I like, okay, just put your hand out, and I will just try to do something here. And then like, wow, it's like hot water running through my hand, and like, okay, are you kidding me? So I showed them first, and the day after, I showed it to my wife, or not ex-wife, and she felt it as well. And from there, I started with my family and some friends, and then it's just at some point exploded because people talking to each other. So I don't. I don't talk much about my healing like here in Norway. It just people talking together and they find out about me.
Yeah, it's so much different than the California in particular. I was on a show and the host was telling me that his father was had his cancer wiped by a Korean man who came from Korea to the United States, and he thought people would be lined out the door to come see him, but it just wasn't didn't happen for him. So, why do you think Norway is a little bit different in that regard? Because in the US, I kind of get the same thing. When somebody talks, oh, I have a healer, or oh, I heal myself, or things like this. Why do you think your community is a little bit different? Because it's quite unique.
I'm not sure if there is any difference, to be honest. I don't know why. I don't know why they come to me. I don't think that I have especially more healing power than anyone else working with this, but it's I don't have a good answer on that one.
Yeah,
But people come to me, and it works. Some people I can help, some people I help right away, some
sure.
people I can't help at all. But you know how it is a process, and
I
just
know
like
I know how it is.
Hamlet did, it's I give people advices how to take care of themselves, and it's a holistic thing. And working with the people, that's a thing.
Now, did this start suddenly or did it build up over time?
Do you mean the healing praxis?
Yes.
Yes. Well, I started out slowly with one client after another, and then it just worked it out. And now I work 100% with that. But I don't do healings every day, all day. I did that at one point, but it's a little. It can be. I protect myself and ground myself and everything, but
Mhm.
it backfires a little bit. And
Yeah.
so I work with events, doing cooperation with breathwork and healing, yoga and healing, and several things. So and help people in that way as well. So I combine one-to-one healing, group healings, um, retreats, events. I'm trying to have a little fun along the journey, and that is maybe what I really realized in two things. I realized in 2025 is that okay, it's supposed to be a little bit fun, and
Mhm.
thing number two, surround yourself with good people, because good people with high frequency will lift you. We really often end up with people around us that drags us down, that drains our energy, and there will always be some. That's okay, but to be conscious about who you surround yourself with, I think is really important.
All right. So, can you tell me a little bit about what kind of people that you work on and treat? Like, who comes see you?
Well, I believe that we are no better than our healing guides. So it's if you have a certain kind of healing guides with special abilities, they, that certain kind of clients may show up. I don't know,
Mhm.
but well, there is a lot of people that need guiding within the spiritual journey, right?
Mhm.
Awakening, grounding them and such. And I have a lot of people with mental issues, anxiety, and those kind of things. Not much physical pain. It's
Oh, really?
no,
So
not much physical pain.
that
It's a lot of mental
that's
pain.
that's interesting. Most of the people that come to me have like physical stuff
Mm.
going on with them. I get people who have, psychological things like anxiety. It helps with that also. But I found that when it's something like stress or anxiety or imbalance or trauma, those are much harder to fix than physical stuff. It's like that for
Absolutely.
me. I don't know if it's like that for you.
It's the same, of course, because the physical pain, sometime, if it is just a physical pain, it could be easy to just take away. But the mental, psychological thing is often much deeper and sits within the root chakra, and comes out of trauma from childhood and things that they have been trying to hide for themselves for years, and so it's really stuck into the nervous system, and it's deep down. But very often those issues manifests as pain,
Hmm.
and that is how they find out that they have to work on it, because the body um, will tell you, of course, that okay, there's an unbalance here. This isn't working. Help me, please do something, and it will give you a bad shoulder or a bad hip or whatever for you to take action.
But
So often the physical pain is not physical pain, but just out of the mental psychological thing.
So I found that some people who have a deep kind of psychological traumatic issue, they'll come to or have it one session, then kind of freak out when they're confronted with it when it's releasing. Do you have that experience also?
Yes, I do. And so I'm often clear with them that okay, because I pick up right away what it may be, and I say, okay, will you need to be prepared to have at least 3 sessions here, and we'll take it from there. So they see the picture, and some people have the first thing, and we find out what is wrong, and it's just too much for them.
Yeah.
They can't handle it, and it still surprises me, because people want to get well, and there we find out what the problem is, and in that one session we can have a big improvement, but
Hmm.
still when they see that okay, this may work out, it's too much, and they back
Yes.
off.
Yes.
So that happens sometimes, yes.
It happens a lot.
Yes, actually,
more
it
more than
does.
I would like to. Why do you think people are so um disassociated with their trauma and trying to confront it?
They're not connected to their body, right? Mind and body isn't connected, and it's about surviving, because they have had trouble, traumas, whatever, and for a while there, it has maybe been necessary to go into survival mode and just getting through for 10 years, 20 years. People have been through tough things, but at some point, you have to lower your shoulders and balance the nervous system. The parasympathetic part of the nervous system, the left side, the feminine side, where you find calm. You gotta get into that and out of the masculine, hunting down everything. You gotta calm down. So people are just used to survive, being in that mode, and handling everything out of that surviving mode. when
S-
and they aren't learned how to balance, how to calm down. They haven't learned about the nervous system, how the body reacts, and people don't learn this in school in Norway or anywhere else. So it's all about getting in touch with your intuition, getting in touch with your breath, for God's sake,
mhm.
and calming down. It won't be any better by keep chasing. We gotta stop chasing and start attracting what we need. We all the time we're chasing down answers, chasing down things we think we need. But what do we know? We know nothing. we gotta calm down and try to the universe wants us to attract what's needed for us instead of trying to chase down what we think, because we're not that smart, gotta be honest.
Absolutely not. Yeah.
me
No
me
one,
neither.
none of us are as much as we think we are, right? And
Yes,
I think people have a tendency to think they know everything that is not true. Does that make sense? Did you catch that?
absolutely.
Right? They might know that they don't know everything, but they
That's
think that
something
if
else.
something is not true,
Mhm.
they know it's not true. So, with that in mind, have you experienced much skepticism during your practice?
Yes, but or not as much as I believed I would. Um, People are open-minded very often, and I have this Norwegian podcast, so a lot of my clients have heard the podcast and like being open-minded through that. But I have clients, coming to me and saying that, okay, I don't believe this, I don't believe in this at all, and I'm like, okay, but you're here, so maybe we should give it a go and see what comes out of it. I feel that just in those years since I opened up again, and those 6 years, I feel people are opening up much more.
Mhm.
So I have a feeling that things are happening in the collective consciousness around this. I
Mhm.
truly do. And I talk with a lot of people. I have had thousands of clients, and everyone have a story. Everyone have had some kind of experience with something spiritual,
Sure.
in their family or themselves, or
Yeah.
so.
And how is spirituality generally seen in Norway? I know in different places it's different. Like here in Japan, you mentioned people don't know who Anne was. Bradfeld Gel. Did I mention say it right?
Brannfjell,
Banfell. Oh, geez, my Norwegian is
it's
not
good
good.
enough. Good
Yeah,
enough.
well, that's good to hear. Like people don't even know what the shrines are, what they do. They think that Buddhist monks only are for funerals. So there's a very big disconnect here in Japan. What's it like in Scandinavia in general?
Well, Norway is a little slow with a lot of things, but the spirituality or the understanding about all of this is really growing. It's exploding, and thanks to a couple of guys, actually, two guys, Marcello Haugen and a guy called Snåsamannen, that
Hmm.
really have opened up the eyes. They are dead now, but they have really big time opened up eyes for people. And both these guys were especially inspired by Anne. So the stories, there's so many stories that people can't look away from it anymore. So in Norway, it's more open than before, and we have, the government is doing, how do they working on healing and checking out healing in one of the hospitals south in Norway, and had a couple of, how do you say it? Give me a second.
Sure thing.
Uh, Research, of course, yes,
Hmm.
research on healing with good results. So now we have two healing reports from this research, and and that's a good thing. Paid by the Norwegian government and everything, so it's coming. And
Oh wow.
the third one is coming up. So
Okay, can you tell us a little bit about that, the third one,
no,
and what this
I
entails?
can't.
Oh, you
It's
can't.
confidential. It's
Oh,
confidential. But
wow. That's
it's
interesting.
coming. Yes. So yes, it's coming, and people are wakening up. But they need, people sit there at home with their own experiences, and they think that I don't know anyone else that have experienced the same things. The
Yes.
truth is that the neighbor has the same experience, or their
Yep.
friends or their parents or whatever. So my work is a lot of, getting this out there with my Norwegian podcast and traveling a little
Mhm.
bit around and talking about this. So people can open up, because people have incredible stories of what happened to them. So
Mhm.
we got to get it all out there. And again, it's, spirituality is, through the years, have been a little woo-woo, right? And I am, it's important for me to take this down to earth, as we talked about earlier, and
Y-
do it like, take it into everybody's daily life,
Yes,
and
it's supposed to be like
not
that.
just talk about the UFOs, but talking about breathing and how to connect with the healing energy themselves and everything. So I have classes with the healing, both in Norwegian and English, online and and in regular classrooms, and teach people how to get in touch with the healing energy. And everyone can do it.
Yeah,
It's
yes,
done quite
they just
quickly.
need they need a facilitator to connect them, and once they're
Mhm.
connected, they have to keep practicing for a
Absolutely.
while
And
until
it
they're
is what you put into it. If you're gonna be a good football player, you have to do a little bit of training.
exactly,
Not
yes.
a little bit, a whole lot of training. And
Yeah.
you need to put your life into it, if you want to be really good.
Ra
And you know all about that.
if it was easy, everyone would be doing it, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, so, yeah.
Exactly.
So, when you have a client or out of all of your clients, which one, um, has surprised you the most as far as results?
Oh,
That you might have thought, "Oh, I'm not sure I could help this person," but you end up doing it.
yes. Um, well, I had this woman that came to me with, she had, I'm not sure what the English correct word is, but she, her body shaked, was
Mm,
shaking big time. It wasn't Parkinson, but something else. And was nothing that could help her. Tried absolutely everything. One session, she was fine. It just took 2 minutes, and her body just calmed down, and she was
mm,
fine. Um, I never heard from her again. So, uh, but the stories, with people that I have worked with over time and helped them, getting in touch with themselves, and just uh, help them with their anxiety. They have trouble with anxiety for 30, 40 years, and through 3 or 4 sessions, we help them to handle their life and work with other people. That's the most incredible thing for me. And maybe some of the strongest stories is when I help people, when they know they're dying, and I can come in and help them, in advance. Maybe I can work with them for months and help them to accept what is going to happen, and help them to work through all the shit, getting rid of everything, so that crossover can be good. And how when they die, they are able to be thankful for their life, and cross over, and help them to cross over, and that journey as well. That is maybe the most powerful things for me.
yeah,
um,
so
in this.
I've noticed with that when people are in that kind of, transition, they have a bit of fear because they don't know what's gonna happen. Many of them may not have any spiritual experiences that they've ever recognized either, right? But when they start actually feeling energy moving up and down their bodies, then it takes away a lot of fear because they've never had that before. And it opens up their mind to accepting new possibilities more than really anything else. And also, too, as the body starts to weaken, the energy moves through it better and more. So they feel more and experience more. I've also noticed that too.
Mhm.
So,
Agree. Agree. But you know how this works. Sometimes I often say that we as healers, we don't have responsibility for the result, but we have responsibility for the process to
mhm.
let the energy flow through. But the result, we don't know what's the best for this person, you know. So
No, we don't.
it's up to the healing energy and the client. But of course, we need some good results to be motivated. And when you have these instant healings, they are, of course, it's good to have some of them. And I think one of the first instant healing I experienced was with one of my friends, one of my best friends. I told him about what I was doing, and he said, I don't believe in this at all. It, I don't believe in this at all. Since you're telling me this, I I I don't think you're crazy, but I think you're this isn't right, you know. And he had this shaking. He as well. His head has been shaking for 20 years, like this, you know, like
Mhm,
some kind of illness. And he said,
mhm.
"Okay, so fix this." And I said, "Okay, we're not doing, we're not at a circus. Okay, I'm not performing."
Yeah.
And he, okay, but I don't believe you. I'm like, okay, let me check. And I put my hand on his neck, on the top of his back, and he was smiling and laughing, like, trying to make jokes of me. And then his smile suddenly disappeared, and he looked at me, and his head stopped shaking. And we haven't talked about it since, but his head still is still there, and everything is okay. But it was too much for him to handle.
Yeah,
It
for
takes
sure.
him, because if he accepted what happened there, he need to accept a bigger reality. It
Mhm.
does so much with the belief system he already got. So he's
Yes.
so thankful for what happened, but he won't talk about it. And that's just how humans are. It's
I
okay.
w I was
We don't push it on people. It's up to people themselves,
I had
right?
another yes, I had another conversation, with someone, and he told me, it's a tall order to ask somebody to, like, forget everything they've ever believed in and just jump and start thinking about something else.
Mhm.
And I definitely agree with that. Tell us about a few other stories about your healings, and I think people are really interested in those. So, can you share some more?
Mhm. Well, I can talk about, there's a lot of stories. Not sure who to pick, but especially one case I had today, a woman that I worked on the third session now. I had several sessions on her earlier. She has several issues. An old woman, but really a strong energy, really strong energy, but
Hmm.
badly treated by her husband for many years, and it's not good. And now, when I treated her last time, she was much better, and now she came back, and it was just all the energy was just stopped, all blocked. Because went back to her old life and everything. Now she came back after the first session. She was so much better. After the second session, she was feeling better. And today, when she um, left my office, she was going on vacation with her grandchildren and doing downhill skiing. And
Mm,
this woman is 75 years old.
wow.
And 3 weeks ago, she barely could walk into my office.
Yes,
And
this.
but that any 75 years old doing downhill skiing anyway, it says something about her energy in the her ground energy in first and she's going to be 115 years old, believe me. It's a cool
Abs-
woman.
Absolutely. So let me ask you this. On the other side, there's always people that you can't help.
Mm.
However, um, tell me about, and I know you've had them out of some helping or working with so many people, of people that have had something that's somewhat, at least somewhat major, and there's a lot of progress. Then they decide that they don't want to come back for some reason, even if say you got rid of half of it and tell them, hey, you need to do one more, and you never hear from them again, or they refuse. Can you tell me about any of those stories?
I can I will give you a little another aspect perspective. Very often when you have a good progress, people attend to come back. And but I have had some clients, that comes to me. They are open-minded. They ask for help.
Hmm.
They have issues that seems to be overcome, possible to fix.
Hmm.
And I have fixed the same problem several times before, and then
Hmm.
this person come and I can't fix it.
Yeah, I've
And I'm
had
like,
that too.
why? This guy comes here with an open heart, an open mind, asking for help. I can help him. Come on. So that a couple of those, and really getting frustrated, but it doesn't help. And again, back to what I said earlier, we don't know what the best thing is for that person. I
Hmm.
can't be attached to the result because maybe what this guy needed, for example, the one guy I'm thinking about now, maybe he needed that experience. I don't know. But it's sometimes hard to you know to be the healer when people are so open-minded and they trusting you. They really
Hmm.
trust you and hoping for you to help them, and you can't. But I do believe that they're happening some kind of healing on some kind of level anyway. I do believe that, but
Hmm.
it's not always what
I've
people.
Yeah, I've came to that conclusion too. I had, for example, one time I was at like a convention, and this woman comes to me who has a very, very bad stutter. She could she could barely speak without that sort of thing. And as I was working on her, I had her keep talking. And it started getting better and better and better until we stopped and I go, all right, I need to see you two more times. However, she was so concerned that I wasn't working or channeling or talking to Jesus or God that she got
Yes.
scared and never came back. And I
I
felt
have
so
experienced that.
bad. I felt so bad because I could have got rid of this terrible thing that she's had all of her life. And it's just like the fear seemed to outweigh
Of course.
what's actually possible. Where do you think that comes from?
It comes out of the belief systems that we have created up through the years, especially through religion, is my belief. I had grown people, sitting in my office and said that they are afraid of being burned in a physical hell because they come to me and ask for help because they think that healers like me work with the devil. And the first time I heard that, I laughed. And And
Th-
I realized, okay, it wasn't a joke. She
yeah, they
actually
take it
meant
very, very seriously. Yeah.
yes, and not often, but it have happened several times, and it comes out of the fear that sits, within us, and through many many years, in Norway, because of spirit, Christianity, and it sits in the collective mindset and consciousness. And we can blame the history, but still, probably all over the world, but in Norway as well, we have, small cults and such things that is extreme people, that still teaches this old belief systems of how things work, and people are getting scared, really, and fear holds them back. The fear holds us all back. The fear is low frequency, and the fear holds me back as well. It's just human, but we need to balance it, and it's normal to have a little bit of fear, maybe healthy at some point, but not too much.
Okay, so someone in the comments is asking or saying that he lives in a small town and he experiences the same dissonance. How does he get around that? To,
What did he
maybe
experience?
like the same dissonance, it means like the same resistance, the same kind of experience atmosphere. And he wants to know maybe how he can get around that and maybe as like a non healer try to start opening up other people's minds.
I agree.
Well, what do you
um,
how can he do that?
Well, I'm certain that there is more people in that society that have the same thoughts that he have. But we need two people.
You've obviously never been to small town America. Like
Okay,
a lot of these places,
then maybe he should move them.
I'm not. It's that's hard though because
No,
the
it's the same thing in
very
Norway.
different.
It's a hard thing, and living in a city, it's okay, but when you come out to the countryside, it's much tougher. So, but at some point, you have to reach out to people, and if there isn't people to reach out to in that town, maybe you need to reach out to people in another town. Back to what I said earlier, surround yourself with people that can lift you at some point. There is
Oh,
always be people that drain your energy, but if you live in a town with people that drain you and drag you down, you got to do something. Take
yeah,
some action.
absolutely.
It's
So,
not easy at
mhm.
all, but it's the truth, right?
Yes, it's absolutely the truth. Have you been following the Buddhist monks walk for peace happening in America at all? Have
No,
you haven't seen any of that? It's big
no.
news in the US right now. There's a
Okay.
Buddhist monastery the monks are from Thailand and they have a monastery in Texas and they decided to walk to Washington DC. A lot of them have been doing it on foot. They're not they're not
Okay.
preaching any religion. Like when people ask them, we're not doing this to preach, we're doing this for peace. Yet there are various churches and other elements often standing in their way, basically yelling at them that they're going to go to hell and confronting
Okay.
them over
That's
these
interesting.
different things. Yeah, and their response is the same thing. It says we're not talking about any religion. We're just doing this for peace. So the reason why I bring that up is because a lot of the churches in small towns have that mentality where they have to shout down other people so that their beliefs are come across as louder. And I think it all goes back to fear, like you said.
It does.
And fear is a powerful thing.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah, it could be used to control people. And I grew up in a Catholic church
mhm.
in a small town in Porsgrunn here in Norway, and I know all about fear. Believe me. But I have broken loose from it. But it isn't easy. It's life, man.
It's
We gotta give people some credit because living this life at all is ballsy, but at the same
well,
time it can be incredible.
it can
But
be
it is.
incredible. Yes, absolutely. So when you're doing a healing, what do you feel? What do you experience while you are working on someone?
Well, I put myself in, a state where or different kind of states, um, for different healings. But um, I experienced the energy flowing through me, um, but it's not often that I feel so much. The client feel more than me. And I
Mm,
often have to ask the client, what do you feel right now? But I feel, where the energy is working. Often, not always, but often I feel where the energy is working in the body. And when I'm in the energy there, my guides sometimes they give me a lot of information about the clients, sometimes nothing,
mm-hmm.
just what is needed for that healing. So I will get a question, something I don't know anything about, a stupid question, and for me it doesn't make sense. But when I ask the client that question, it make absolutely
Yeah.
sense.
So
You know,
sometimes they gasp, right?
absolutely, and so that's interesting. But I feel them. I feel my guides, all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a communication with them now. Haven't been like that always, but now it's like when I was a child.
Mm-hmm.
But I have used many years to come back to that clear communication.
All
But that
right.
communication is about me and is about guiding me to do the healings and what to do. It's not often like mediumship that I can tell everything about someone. You
Yeah, for
know,
sure. It's
I
that's
don't control what comes through. It's just what needed for the healing.
right. Right. And nothing else, right? Barely
Absolutely
anything else.
nothing else. Yes, but
Sure.
for me, they tell me a lot of things, so I often know what will happen, and when I tap into someone's energy, for example, I can read out of their energy, uh, not their future, but where there will come ups and downs, and maybe what they should be prepared for, or that is typical things that come through in a healing, or maybe nothing. I don't know.
Okay. Okay. So what keeps you humbled when you're doing this work? What keeps you grounded the most? You mentioned how important that is, and it is. Otherwise, when we're just being spiritual, I've met people that are just like, I'm spiritual, and it feels like their head is literally in the clouds, where the angels and UFOs are, and they cut their personality, like their whole kind of like being, their energy, and how they carry themselves is exactly like that. So, what keeps you from becoming like that?
Well,
Because it's not
I
good.
no, 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 and that is what it's really important for me that
Mm,
when I teach, when I guide, when I heal, I I'm always talking about grounding, and people are like, "Could you open my crown chakra and connect me with the galaxies?" I'm like, nope,
mm,
I can ground you so you can live a happy life here. My energy uh, grounded from the beginning, and I had a really tough childhood that have kept me humble, and out of that childhood I had a really bad self-confidence, so I have been working on that all the time. So
mm,
I'm not bragging, that is not me. And I found my path. I feel what is correct for me, and it is that grounding thing. I take things down, I translate the spirituality for people to understand how to adapt it into their daily life. That is what is
Mm-hmm.
important for me. And when if I go out of that path, or what is meant for me, how it is meant for me to work, I feel the resistance right away. It's like instant karma, big time.
Mm.
So I'm quite guided. And the moment I get a little bit high on myself, lose my humbleness,
Mm-hmm.
I meet resistance. Trust me. I'm human, so I'm not like in zen all the time. It's the instant karma that holds me grounded.
All right.
It doesn't hold
So,
me back. It pushes me
mhm.
forwards and keep me humble.
Right now, so do you, I think this is very important to differentiate too. Do you ever tell someone to get medical help alongside of your work? Because I know a lot
Absolutely.
of, bad healers, especially like in these cults that you mentioned, like the leader or the whoever's running these things will usually tell people, or a lot of times tell people, "Oh, you don't need those hospitals. Like I can cure you." And they don't have any training and they can't even really do anything. Or some of them can do a little, but it's not very refined. So it's enough so their followers could feel it or have a little bit of an experience. So it hangs on to them enough to believe it, so they don't get medical help. What would you say to people who are in that? And how do you conduct yourself so you make sure that um, you don't fall into that? Or do your guides help you with that and say, hey, this
My
person
guides
needs,
would never help me with that. But
I mean,
first of
help
all,
you, I mean, help you with pointing the person into the right direction, I meant.
yes, of course,
Right.
understand. Well, we first of all, it is in the law. The Norwegian law for healers is a law
Hmm.
that says that you can't give any advices due to like medical things. So I don't give any advices around those things at all, except of telling them to go to the doctor. And many times I have told people to go to the doctor and said that I won't treat you further before you have talked to the doctor, and taking that process. I've stopped the treatment here now, and we can start back up when you have been at the doctor. And people, for example, may say, okay, now I have come to you, so I have stopped my medication. And I say, okay, I don't treat you. Keep doing your medication, do whatever. The healing energy will work with your medication and make your medication better. And
Yes,
it may
this
be
is.
medication that they shouldn't have,
Mhm.
but I can't tell them that.
This
It's a
is
it's a fine line there. We can't
this is what I
give
tell
them.
people with who are doing chemo or don't want to with
Mm,
their cancer. I will tell them, have your chemo and come see me right after, because it tends to push all the radiation sickness and the after effects it out. And at the same time, it makes it do what it's technically supposed to do. So
absolutely.
it's very, very effective. And it's something that I really, because of the reputation that this has, it's really difficult to get that across to people that this is a really good treatment to work with this. But
The complementary.
it's a complementary, yeah, and it's worked
Yes,
very, very well.
yes, that is my
What I
experience as well.
What I will say, people who get addicted to opiates or painkillers, things like that, it actually has cut off the healing from this because they're messing with their nervous system. And if their nervous
Exactly.
system is cut off, the energy can't go through. So I think it's important not to abuse that stuff either. And I do tell people that. So, in Japan, for example, like these pain medications are illegal because people get addicted,
Yes, they do.
like
In
morphine and
Norway,
stuff.
people get addicted in Norway as well. But and I tell that to people to they talk to the doctors and get help with those things because again it cuts the mind off the body. You're not connected at all, not connected
Hmm.
to your nervous system or anything.
All right, so you don't just heal people one on one. You could do large groups too, as I can.
Yes. Yes, I
S-
do large groups, and that's really
So
I
tell
like
me a
it a
little.
lot.
So I do that. I could do that too. Like people perhaps here know that. Um, what what started that, and what made you decide
Yes, to
that
be
I'm
honest,
going to do
I
this?
I, uh, I did a long distance healing, probably is it 4 years ago or something? And at the end of that long distance healing, one of my guides came through and he said, "Well, Jonas, now we're starting doing group healings." And I'm like, "Yeah, I didn't know that was possible." So, but I follow. So I had my office next to a yoga studio, and I
Hmm.
talked with them and I said, "Okay, I want to do a group healing," and they trusted me and thought that I knew what I was doing. I wasn't. Um, so 8 days later, I sat down in the yoga studio. I think it was 8 or 9 women participating. They lay
Hmm.
down on their mats. I sat down and I told my guides, "Okay, I'll do my trance." Went into a trance and to open the room, the space to channel the healing energy. And I said, "Okay, now it's up to you." So I sat there for 35 minutes, was shit nervous of what was actually going on. I felt something, but I didn't know if it would work or anything. But it worked. It worked. And since then I have had, I don't know, a couple of hundreds group healings, both online and live. And I think the biggest one I have one online with 70 people at one time, and one live as well in Oslo, the capital, with 70 people in one room, and that was strong. It was almost too much for me, but really, really interesting, big
That's
time.
int- that's interesting. It feels the same for me, whether it's like one or two people and a couple hundred. It's like it's like, did that
Yes,
work?
online is the same for me. Online is the
Mm,
same. But the more people I have in the live events, the stronger the energy gets somehow.
it
So
seems
it's
so.
it's not unpleasant. It's just really interesting.
Yes, it is strong. And when people come to me and kind of wonder why something isn't gotten rid of right away, and they don't understand that it doesn't work, and they think about, well, maybe I will just try this other healing or this other thing, and maybe that will go. And they keep doing that because they figure that someone can finally has the ability to pull it out. And the reason why I'm saying that because it doesn't necessarily matter how strong something is. It's a matter of because technically we could do like 100 people and pull. I think that if we could pull pretty much anything out of anyone at any time. However, I think that if the energy did that, it wouldn't be safe for that person. I think there's certain things that are there, and moving it out at the wrong time could be detrimental. Have you had that? Is that your experience too?
Yes, it has to do with people's own power of self-discovery. You know, you people have to be able to deal with it as well. And people,
Hmm.
if people isn't ready for it, it won't happen. And especially then in a group healing, if you don't have the support, and if I have 50 people in a live event, I can't support everyone. You know.
Yeah.
Um, but I have experienced instant healings within group healings as well,
Yes. Hmm.
and several. But if people have some like if people have big issues, I always recommend them to come to a one-to-one healing session. Often for people that may feel it a little scary with healing, they can come to a group healing first with a friend, you
Hmm.
know, to get a little experience and feel the energy and such. So, but have had some crazy experiences in the group healings as well.
Okay.
But if it's some serious issues, I would recommend people to go one to one so they can get needed support and the holistic picture. It's important.
All right. So there are 14, 15 people here. And like these feeds, many of them people come after. From your experience, the recordings work too, not just the live like sessions. Like when people come to it, it also works.
Yes,
So were you
absolutely.
surprised? Were you surprised by that? Because I certainly was when I did it.
Well, I started to do it on YouTube.
Hmm.
When I started to do it on YouTube, I knew it would work because I have
Hmm.
already done it in Norway on my podcast and audio files, and I saw how it worked. I recorded it and sent it out, and people had reactions. And not only did they have reactions, but they tell how healing started. Some of them tell me how healing started, some of my clients, without knowing that I have recorded a new healing meditation. Okay,
Hmm. Yeah.
that's crazy. I don't understand that. So they have at some point made themselves available for the healing energy and said, okay, I want Jonas's healing,
S-
and I create a healing meditation. I don't tell them, but it starts working. And then like
s-
they feel the energy starting, and they're like, okay, what is this? And they send me a text like, okay, what have you done now? And I just recorded a healing meditation, and they could feel it.
So this is how it was explained to me. Um, so from the point that the healing starts, no matter the time or place, the healing will get there at that moment, because in the other world there is no concept of time. So everyone's feeling it simultaneously from the point we're doing it. So this recording will last far longer than the dozen people or so that are here. And this might be actually a historical first. I don't think anyone with the internet's pretty new. I've never actually heard of anyone doing this before. I've met many healers, of two people doing it at once
Doing
for
the healing,
other.
heal. Well,
Yes.
I have done it with some people.
Oh, you have.
Yes, but it's absolutely the first time someone in the north of Europe and in Japan is doing it at the same time. So we're covering the whole
So before we
globe.
do that, others that you've met, are they able to do large groups too with the same potency, or is it different
Together with me, yes,
together with
because
you?
I hold those
You hold the
that
courage.
energy. I hold
So
the energy.
So I do that too, right? So
Mhm.
perhaps that might be kind of, let's see how it goes.
It gonna be perfect.
All right.
Okay.
Is everyone in the chat ready for this? And any first timers have never done this before here now? Or I think everyone's just getting ready. Like it's mostly my regular people. Um
Okay. So for how long are we gonna do the healing now?
let's do it. So I'll just do. I could do it silently too, but I will do some of my words and then I'll go silent. And I think when I clap, then that's when we'll end it. So I think it'll
Okay.
last about. Uh, we went a little bit over time, like 12 minutes or so, and 12, 15 minutes less or take, and that'll be it. And everyone in the
Uh,
chat, people in the chat, will let us know how it went.
and I'll just do my thing, and our energy will just work together. So
Yes, it
people should
will.
just lay down or sit comfortable and
Sit up.
and make themselves comfortable.
Yes. All right.
Right?
We ready? Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you.
Is everyone ready? Oh, yep, they're ready. Amaterasu mi oyano kami no misu maru no 命照らし国静かなりアマテラスみおやの神の水丸の命照らし国静かなり高天晴にかむずまります。カムラギ、カムラミのみこともして、せめみおやかむ、いざなぎの神つくしのひむかの立花の大戸の青木が春に、みそき、払い、たまいし、時にあれませる。払いどの狼たち、もろもろのまがごとつみかえりよ。払いたまい、清めたまいと申すことのよしよ。天津神、国津神、夜津の神たちともに引っ越しますと、かしこみかしこみもまおす。どうすの神、あまてらします。せめみ神の耳にを、伝えて教え導きのたまわく。人はすなわち、神と神とのもとの主たり、何時らの紳士の痛ましむることなかれ。このゆえに目にもろもろの風情を見て、心にもろもろの風情を見ず、耳にもろもろの風情を聞いて、心にもろもろの風情を聞かず、口にもろもろの風情を言って、心にもろもろの風情を言わず、身にもろもろの風情に触れて、心にもろもろの風情に触れず、心にもろもろの風情を思とも、中心にもろもろの風情を思わず、この時に清く潔きことあり、もろもろのノリは影と形のことし、清く清ければ汚れることなし、ことをとらばうべからず、皆花よりずの身とはなる。我が身はすなわち六根処女なり、六根処女なるがゆえに、ごぞの真君兄なり、ごぞの真君兄なるが、ゆえに天地の神とどこなり、天地の神とどこなるが、 故に万物の霊と体なり、万物の霊と体なるが、故になすところにこて成就せずということなし、無常霊法、真珠仏教、天上無休、名入賞、神奈川列、払いたまい、清みたまい、守りたまい、先はいたまい、照らしたまい、導きたまい。と神、えみたも、観言心、そうにかんだけん、払いたまい、清みたも。高めの腹にかむずまります。攻め神たち、いやわらしたも、特殊の水の宝持ちて、余ってる国てるひけあみのほ、あかり、きしたま、ねぎはやひのみことに、静けたもこと教えてのたまわけ、今しこの水の宝持ちて、中つくりに雨下り、あうひとぐさ沈め収めよ。あう人ぐさおよび、よりずのものの病のことあらば、神宝持ちて、見くいた沈みに起きて、見たま沈みの祭りを、なして水の宝を振るべ、そのカムホギの言葉に曰く、木のい木のと、火のい火のと、土のい土のと、かのいかのと、水のい水のと、ひふみよいむなやこと。にのとふるべゆるいら、かく祈りせばまかりともさらにきなんとしても。雨の神の身をやみことのりかけてまいて、雨の岩、船に乗りて、河内の国の川上の、怒る亀に天下りましまして、大和の国、引きの山のふもと、白庭の高庭に移しましまして、月祭りとも、名付けて、イスの神のお神ともし立て祭り、よよかむ宝を持ちて、よるずの者のために、古びの神ごと持ちて、しかしなしと家の古の御霊の神とうやまい立て祭り、せめみこと、おむらじ、おとろその神とけきを持ちて、いつきに使い祭りとも、物のべの神のやしろ、雨がした、よりずの者の手声なり、いでんもと神宝は、いわゆる、おきつ鏡、平つ鏡、やつくの剣、いく玉、たる玉、まかるが石の玉、ちいが石の玉、おろちのひれ、八のひれ、くすぐすのもののひれ、さらにとくすの神、木のい木のと、火のい火のと、土のい土のと、かのいかのと、水のい水のと、ひふみよいむなやこと。にのとふるべゆらといら、かしたてまつることのよしをもちて、平らけくきこしめせと、命長く子孫はね、時はかきわに、守りたまい、先はいたまい、かじたてまつり、人生寿命心力かじ。Everyone inhale, exhale. again. Taka amahari ni kamazamarimasu. Kamaroki, kamaromi no mikoto moshite, sumemi oyakama, izanagi no kamitsukushi no himaka no tachibana no odo no awagigahara ni misogi harai tamaishi toki ni arimaseru. Harai dono o kamitachi, moromoro no maga goto tsumi kairyo. Harai tamai kiyome tamai to masu koto no yoshio. Amatsukami, Kunitsukami, Yao, Yorizu no kami tachitomo ni hikoshi mesato, Kashikomi, Kashikomi, Momauso. Taka amahari ni kamazumarimasu, Kamarogi, Kamaromi no mikoto moshite, Sumemi, Oyakama, Izanagi no kami tsukushi no himaka no tachibana no odo no aogigahara ni misogi, harai, tamaishi, toki ni are maseru. Harai dono o kamitachi, moromoro no maga goto tsumi kairyo. Harai tamai kiyome tamai to masukoto no yoshio. Amatsukami, kunitsukami, yao, yoruzu no kamitachi tomo ni hikoshi mesato, kashikomi, kashikomi mo mausu. Taka amahari ni kamazumarimasu, kamarogi, kamaromi no mikoto moshite, sumemi oyakama, Izanagi no kamitsukushi no himaka no tachibana no odo no awagigahara ni misoki harai tamaishi toki ni are maseru. Harai dono o kamitachi moromoro no maga goto tsumi kairyo. Harai tamai kiyome tamai to masukoto no yoshio. Amatsukami, kunitsukami, yao, yoruzu no kamitachi tomo ni hikoshi besuto. Kashikomi, kashikomi, momauso. Kanagara tamachiyamase. Kanagara tamachiyamase. Kanagara tamachiyamase. All right, as we breathe, Jonas, is there any type of meditative technique you want to add to that? Or anything you'd
Just
like to
being
say there?
aware of the breath. Being aware of the breath. That's the most important thing here. The awareness in the breath, in the inhale, the exhale, and the room in between. Following the breath like waves. Living in the mystery.
Okay. How is that, everyone? I mean, I feel good. how about you? I felt it was like for me, it was like more of a feedback than when I do it myself, right? I when I
I
do it,
just
I still feel it. Go ahead. What
I
did
just
you get?
I just felt the call. You know, it was just
Yeah,
about calming down, restarting, reconnecting, grounding. It's
yeah.
calm energy.
I feel great.
It's
I,
good.
we got to experiment with that more in the future.
Absolutely.
It was actually, yeah, it was different for
And
me.
it's
And
cool to combine these two techniques, really.
yeah, very cool.
And
Yeah,
I felt your words.
one of the things that, oh, you did. Good,
Mm.
good. I'm glad. Yeah, one of the things, a recent message to me was I need to work with more healers because getting rid of everything yourself isn't necessarily possible. You have to have other
Exactly.
people around you.
Oh, it's, you know, that is actually a good point. Maybe we should get some healing as well.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Let's see. Someone says, in my mind's eye, a spark touched my crown. A fog blew off my arm. My path of life is clear and in a funnel going forward. When I stepped out of my normal form, I was weightless and vast. So, yeah. I don't know. During your sessions, do people get visuals, or do they ever see stuff, or do they feel
Yes,
things
of
too?
course. But people are
Okay.
different, you know. Some
Absolutely.
just see a black wall, others see all kind of things. So all kind of things happening, symbolic things, and it doesn't always need to make sense. That's not the most important thing, but that just that things are happening, that are there are colors, and you know there is some kind of movement is good. It's yeah.
So one of the Buddha's followers once asked him, and this is in the sutras, who created the universe? And his answer was, everyone is so concerned about, um, or human beings are always have this idea that something needs to come from something, rather than it just being is. And it doesn't make sense to pursue trying to figure all of that out, because it would be sort of like a soldier who gets shot with a poisoned arrow. And instead of taking the medicine for it, he wants to know what kind of tree it was made of, who shot it, and who ordered it. By the time he figures all that stuff out, he's already gone. So it's meaningless, because you won't be able to grasp how vast the mystery, as you put it, actually is. So
And
I think
and
that's a good
uh,
story to.
let me add a little thing here. It's
Sure.
I think we should quote Chuck Berry. You know Chuck Berry,
Shot
the
Berry. Mhm.
Chuck Berry, the blues artist. He said,
Okay.
"Welcome, yes, welcome to this mean old world, probably invented by yourself." So there we go.
Absolutely. All
Yes.
right, so we've been talking for almost 2 hours. I wanna keep all of these, under about 2 hours. I think people do an hour, but I don't think it's enough time to really kinda get to know someone and talk to them, and for people to get a feel for them. Yeah, so thank you for coming on. I think, um, Bransfield, did I pronounce it right? Bransfield would be very
Brandfjell.
proud. Branfeld. I
Brandfjell.
did say it right, Branfeld. I
Yes.
mean, my pronunciation is not perfect, but close
Good
enough.
enough.
Good enough. I think she'd be very proud of what you're doing, and I do think she actually does hand. I actually know for a fact that she does have in hand in helping guide you and move forward in like your work. So how can people find you?
Well, I have a English website where they can find my services, actually.
All
So
right.
one-to-one group or courses, and I have my own YouTube channel, Jonas the Healer. Um, and my website is Healer Jonas point no.
All right. And you are available for one-on-ones. You do groups, you do retreats with other people, and a bunch of other stuff I'm sure you're working on. You told me that there's some
Gotcha.
tests going on,
Yes,
that you can't
we'll
tell
see.
anybody about.
We'll see.
We'll see. I actually I know someone else that's doing that right now too. And he did like $1 million clinical trials, and it's like coming out in like the next year. So let's see how that goes too in the US.
Nice. That's
So
good.
I hope I could have him on too. But all right, so that is the first episode of Folklore After Dark. I'm probably going to take the live down and upload it as a video a little later. I think this went perfect. I'm very happy with how it turned out. What did everyone think? Did you enjoy this format and this broadcast? Let us know in the comments. Be sure to like this video and subscribe to this channel and subscribe to Jonas's channel too. Like him, I'm available for one-on-ones also. So
Good.
yeah. So any final words, Jonas, before we end the stream?
First of all, thank you for inviting me. Really nice to talk with you. And I'm seriously amazed by you taking up talking about this person. I don't know if you understand how crazy it actually is. If you have asked any else healer in Norway, they wouldn't know the story about her. So you taking the chance that I
This is
knew about her,
this is
it's crazy.
what I do.
It's no coincidence. So I'm amazed, really. Thank you.
I will post Jonas's channel. It's already posted in the comments actually, so you can find it there to everyone who's just asked me that. All right, so that's it. Thank you again for tuning in, and I will see you next episode when I have another vented and proven guest. That's very important for me for this. There are a lot of people who, I don't want to say take advantage, but they sort of do, right? And I'm trying to stay away from all of that. All right. Again, thank you, Jonas. I don't even want to leave, but I'm going to end it now. All right. I'll see you next time. And you guys stay tuned to see whatever we follow up with. Thank you for tuning in.